One. What it is, what it do. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and everything else too. Yeah, I'm rhyming today. It's episode 93, and just like episode 93, if you know, we are from Boston, Yellow Card Podcast, representing Boston here. Just like 93, we either went south or north this week on the leagues that we predicted some scores on and whatnot. But before we get that, just a quick shout out to our network sponsors, Couch Guy Sports. Make sure that you check out couchguysports.com. Check out all the content, baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer, everything else in between the lines. You know where you find it. No subscriptions needed. couchguysports.com. Make sure you check it out. Also, a huge shout out to our sponsors on this podcast as well, Shocked Energy and Exogun. Make sure you check out the products. You already know the discount codes. Just real quick, CGSN for Shocked Energy and Couch Guy 10 for Exogun. 10% off on both websites, 10% off right now. Hey, listen, it's a good idea considering gas prices still relatively high. With that said, like I said earlier, we either went south or went north, like 93, like Route 93 out of Boston. So without further ado, we're going to kick things off here relatively quick. Going to let Jones let us know how we did on the betting side of things, considering that we had a pretty big prop going on last week. Don't know how much of that we accomplished, but let's figure out what happened there. We'll touch base on La Liga, Serie A real quick, and then we'll get to the meat and greedy of this whole entire episode, which will be the Premier League. And as you know, the Tuchel versus Conte controversy that we found out and that went out this past weekend. So, Jones, take it away. Welcome to episode 93, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm good. I don't know if you noticed, but I was practicing my flight attendant skills, showing you where the exits on the airplane were and how to get the thing over your head.
I was hardcore ignoring you, man, because I don't fly Spirit Airlines. That was cheap.
All right, listen. Southwest, American, JetBlue. That's it. I wouldn't touch Spirit with a 10-foot pole.
I touched Delta, so.
Yeah, I did once before, and I'll never do it again.
Okay.
So go on the betting side last week. Both of our best bets didn't hit. Mine being Newcastle on the money line at plus 205, and yours being Liverpool minus 1.5, minus 165. Obviously, that didn't hit. The Yellow Card Podcast parlay, that means did not hit as well, so we're 0-2 on that as well. We'll have to bounce back this week and get into it. Last week, your boy 3-7, Diego 1-9. Records as followed. Jones is 8-12. Diego was 6-14. But the good news is, Diego, that was last week. Now we're focused on this week. And let's get focused, shall we?
Yes, sir.
The first game on the slate for match day number 3 in the Premier League is none other than Tottenham hosting.
Whoa. Before we even jump into the Premier League, we need to touch base real quick on La Liga and Serie A. Let's touch base on that real quick, since those are 3 games each. We both did fairly well. Let's just touch base on those real quick, so that we can really get on the bones and everything on this episode, which is the Premier League. There's too much to talk about in the Premier League right now that we can't just give it away.
All right, so in La Liga, Diego and I both went 1-2 last week.
Yeah.
Both predicting Villarreal to win. Sevilla losing, definitely hurt. And then in Celta and Espanyol, we both had the opposite side. Neither of them won. It was a draw. So we're 1-2 in there. Also, speaking of La Liga, I want to talk about one thing. Did you notice that the best team that played in La Liga last week was Atletico Madrid?
Yes, sir.
Because Barcelona.
I don't know.
Real Madrid struggled with the team that literally just came up from the second division.
Yeah.
And honestly, not for nothing, gotta give credit where credit's due. That David Alaba goal, first touch of the season, and he scores that right off the post and in. It was a beaut.
Yeah, that thing was beauty. Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for the Liga. Serie A. Clean sweep for the boys. AC Milan, Atalanta, Juventus, all winning in their matchups respectively. So with 3-0 in that, Bundesliga, both United, Leipzig over Cologne, 0-2 in that. League 1, you have Lille over Nantes. Lille did not win. I believe they drew.
Yeah,
And
neither
then
one won.
Marseille and Brest also drew. So I'm 1-1 in there. You're 0-2 there. Before we get into this week, obviously I mentioned Tottenham already as being the first game that we're going to discuss in a second. But why don't we touch upon what happened in the Chelsea and Tottenham game from the other night. So for starters, a lot of controversy in that game. A lot of missed calls from what I saw watching the game. You know, on the Harry Kane equalizer in stoppage time, there was a pull of Cucurella's hair that did not get called right in front of the ref.
Yep.
Which led to another corner kick, which led to Harry Kane scoring that goal. There was another one about a slide tackle that didn't get called as well, and that's what got Thomas Tuchel really hot.
Well, there's been a lot. There's been a lot in that whole entire rivalry, but keep going.
So basically, we got a renewed rivalry. These two teams will also face again in February, so we're gonna want to watch that. So keep note. I think it's February 23rd, I believe, on the calendar. I have to quadruple check. But what are your thoughts on this Antonio Conte versus Thomas Tuchel rivalry coming before our very eyes in the Premier League?
Well, for starters, I appreciate that you're all over the podcast topics. We went down real quick and we said let's touch base on La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga, and let's give away our predictions. But we didn't do such thing. But that's fine. Because this guy is dying to give away the content. So we'll give away the content. In my honest opinion, the whole Thomas Tuchel versus Antonio Conte thing, this is what the Premier League needed. And coming this early, it's just so much more amazing. We've had great coaching rivalries. We've had Mourinho versus Pep Guardiola in La Liga when it was hot, when it was everything you wanted to look for. It's why the El Clasico meant so much back in the day. Then you have Jurgen Klopp versus Pep Guardiola in the earlier days. Now that rivalry, it's still somewhat hot, but it's more of a respect level kind of things because both teams always end either first or second place. Either of those teams end in first or second place. Now seeing Tottenham versus Chelsea, this is a rivalry that goes back years and years and years, but nobody has gotten it boiling to the point that it is boiling now. And it was Antonio Conte and Thomas Tuchel that finally took it there and finally made it happen. A lot of things going on here. For starters, Tuchel a little upset over a Betancourt slide tackle on Kai Havertz to win the ball. Personally, the way from what I saw it looked like a clean tackle to me. It doesn't look like the player sliding Betancourt actually touches Kai Havertz for it to be a foul. Kai Havertz continues running anyways. It's either Kai Havertz or Mason Mount, one or the other. They both look somewhat alike. But to be quite frankly honest, it didn't look much of a foul to me. But knowing how Tuchel felt about it, it seemed on his side of things that it was that way. So we'll give that to Tuchel. The second one being a hair pull on Marco Cucurella, the new signing for Chelsea from Brighton. That one I give 100% to Tuchel on. That one is a cheap move. There wasn't anything that Cucurella was doing onto Romero to really trigger that. Romero really didn't need to use the hair pull to get advantage on Cucurella. He could have done that by just being physically and a little bit more speedy, to be frankly honest with you. But he didn't do either or. He just decided to take the lane route and go with the hair pull. But honestly, this rivalry has been heating up for quite a while. And we noticed that happen in the summer transfer window as well, which is still ongoing, by the way. We have until August 31st for the last signings to be done. So be on the lookout for that episode to drop because we will see a lot of storylines develop. As it is, we're starting to see new storylines develop as well and old storylines rekindle. An example, Anthony going to Manchester United, that seems to rekindle again. All that and so much more happening in the summer transfer window. So continue to follow us on Twitter at Podcast Card. But anyways, Tuchel versus Conte, dude. Way before even the summer transfer window was going on, they were already going at it. Tuchel making comments on some of the signings that Conte was making, and Conte coming on being like, Tuchel should focus on Chelsea and Chelsea only. Let me focus on Tottenham and Tottenham only. It's more of like a respect kind of thing, and I agree with Conte there. Both coaches need to worry about their own agendas, their own clubs, and what they're looking to do and their own strategies, rather than minding each other's strategies and businesses. So I agree with Conte there. I think the reaction of Conte after that first tying goal over to Chelsea was a little bit over the top. However, it is Conte. We both know that he is a very passionate man, especially when when high tension games are happening and Conte is involved. Expect the man to go off celebrating, because to be frankly honest, there wasn't much of a difference in this game at all. Both had high pressure flow going. Both transitioned from their original formations and variated multiple times into 3-5-2, 3-4-3, even 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1 formations often. Both struggled defensively as well. Chelsea got a bunch of opportunities in front of the net. So did Tottenham as well. And in terms of goalkeeping, both goalkeepers were tremendous in this game. Mendy doing the things that he does, and Lloris giving the confidence in the back of the net that Tottenham needed to continue fighting into this game. It only comes down to the fact that Harry Kane being the hero and being the man that they desperately needed to show up at the last opportunity, that last minute, for things to boil over. Now, what I will say that I think really boiled the things, and I find this to be more on Tuchel's fault than anything, was Conte. Tuchel claims that Conte gave him a look prior to their handshake at the end of the game. Frankly, I didn't see no look or anything. You can look at the video. You can slow it down if you want. Conte's looking at the ground. He sees Tuchel there. He gives him a handshake, and he just wants to keep walking. At this point, Conte's already aggravated. He doesn't want to do any talking. He just wants a quick handshake, move on from the game, and focus on to next week. Tuchel had no need, though, to pull Conte's arm back and then confront him right there. At that point, doing that, you are the instigator in the whole thing. And so who I think should have gotten the direct red card immediately should have been Tuchel, not Conte. Not, Conte first and then maybe Tuchel after and all that. On top of that, too, after the game, Tuchel could be facing some charges as well from the FA as well in terms of improper behavior, because frankly honest, all Premier League coaches know to do better than to comment on the officiating of that game. Whether they like it or they don't, they know better than to comment. Tuchel had no need to comment on that. Tuchel had no need to come out after the press game and be like, yeah, no, if Anthony Taylor didn't see the hair pull, then we have a VAR that's verifying that. Why didn't Mike Dean make the right call and say to Anthony Taylor that, hey, a hair was pulled, that should be a red card and a free kick? First of all, Tuchel, you know better than this. It's Anthony Taylor and Mike Dean. That's a recipe for disaster. Mm-hmm. Even a fan from miles away can tell you that. You don't have to be in the stadium to realize that that's a recipe for disaster. Second of that, you are a world-class coach. You know better than this, dude. You know better than to comment on the referee. You know better than that. And third of all, I understand tensions are high. Game is highly competitive. Some disrespect here and there. But, dude, be a better man. You are the man who that locker room is looking to at the end of the day in terms of guidance. You're not giving them guidance. You're giving them every single reason for them to go ahead and comment on refereeing and be stupid. So, at the end of the day, I think a lot of blows back and forth. I don't think either coach was right on their behavior. It is drama that we absolutely love to see in the Premier League, and it is content that we love to see. I know that Sky Sports, their person interviewing the both coaches was phenomenal on that. He was asking questions around the bush, and he got busted right off the bat by both coaches, and they both basically said, you guys have been brewing up this rivalry for a while. What are you guys trying to act like you guys didn't instigate anything when you guys are right in the middle of it? And I agree with both coaches. These two teams are very similar, and this year more than ever. So expect their next meeting to be everything you wanted for it. And it started at the bridge. You know that once you go over to White Lane, that takes a turn. It could be for the worse, or it could be for the better, or it could be for God knows what. But this is a hot rivalry, and I like it. What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely good for the league for sure. I think right now you think of it like this: you get two teams that are fighting necessarily for top four in the league. Obviously, we have our title favorites that we like. They're not one of them, but they're still fighting for it. And every game matters to them. And Tottenham's back in Champions League football, so they're going to be at the top of the game. Chelsea's not playing Champions League football this year, so they're a little bit upset. Actually, no, they are. I'm sorry. They're both playing Champions League football this year. I don't know why I thought Chelsea wasn't. My brain's all rattled because you just went on so long that I'm completely spaced out for a second. But I think it's good for the league. I think, I'm definitely going to tune in to see the next time that these two teams play. And also, I'm more so looking forward to what Chelsea has now for the rest of the year, because I think Tuchel kind of sparked a fire that team was lacking a little bit. And with this new ownership, I think Tuchel has put his neck out there and has said, hey, boys, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to sit down and let these guys just continue to get away with this. So what we're going to do, we're going to be a little bit more physical, and we're going to get the job done. And I think next time that these two teams play, I think Chelsea does get the job done. However, the thing with Chelsea is I think they have a couple more moves that they're going to make to get some guys off the books. Obviously, we saw Timo Werner leave. I think Christian Pulisic is just slowly working his way out. I wouldn't be
Yeah, I think
surprised if he moves to another team within the Premier League as well. Maybe to a team like Newcastle or West Ham would be a good one.
or to United, considering that we can't seem to get anything done. But
Yeah, but we don't talk about United. You
no,
said to me beforehand, we're not talking about Manchester United on this show today.
it's not worth it. But anyways,
But so we have that to look forward for Chelsea. Tottenham, I just think they're going to continue to grow and continue to grow. And by the next time that these two teams face off, I think these teams are going to look completely different. But I do think the fire is still going to be there. So I'm curious to see how these two teams come out, and we'll wait and see what happens the next time these two teams play together.
yeah, no, I like it. I like it.
Just looking at last week, there's obvious losers that we're not going to discuss. Obvious winners. I think the big winner of the week, I think we have to give it to Nottingham Forest. Last week I said to you, we were talking about them and West Ham. I said, listen, I'm going to go with the draw here, but I would not be surprised if Nottingham Forest comes out on top. And that's exactly what they did. They played a very tough game. They're tough defensively at home. If Declan Rice gets that PK to go in, 1-1. Other than that, I just didn't like what West Ham had in that game. I think Newcastle played very, very well, and West Ham has come out 2 straight weeks, very, very shaky in my opinion, and they need to figure it out. I think they were the big loser this week.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it.
All right, let's dive in. Let's talk about this week. Let's dive in. First game on the slate. Been talking about it a little bit. Tottenham hosting Wolves. What do you got?
I got Tottenham win this one 2-0. Tottenham is at a very high level. Wolves have yet to shown up. It's easy. 2-0 Tottenham.
I didn't know we were gonna start this early with the same score on the same team. So the last time these two teams played was February of this year, technically. At Tottenham, Wolves came in, beat them 2-0 clean. They were up 2-0 in the first half, and just Tottenham couldn't get anything going against them. Since then, Tottenham has been on an absolute tear. I think only having one loss since then as well in the Premier League. I think they get the job done 2-0. I would be surprised if Wolves got anything going on the road against how good this team is.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, so the next game we got Crystal Palace and we have Aston Villa.
Crystal Palace versus Villa. I got 1-0 for Palace. Palace needs to get a victory here. They played a really tough game against Liverpool. With that being said, and the confidence that they'll be playing under, I think they can beat Villa.
I'm gonna go actually with the draw here. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. And so last year, I believe Villa won 2-1, and then they drew at Villa. With this being at Crystal Palace, you want to get the edge to them a little bit here, but I think the only thing for me is, yes, they played well against Liverpool today. They were up 1-0 though. Nunez gets a red card, and then Luis Diaz scores an absolute scorcher, and then they just kind of packed it in. They didn't really. It was like they were okay with just getting a point from Liverpool there, rather than trying to take advantage of the fact that they had 10 men. So with that being said, I like how Villa looked this weekend as well. I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw because I think these two teams are actually more evenly matched than we're going to give them credit for here.
Okay, I like it.
All right, let's go Everton and Nottingham Forest.
I got 1-0 to Everton. Nottingham has been off to a good start, but Everton desperately needs a win here. I think they can make it happen here.
I agree with you. I do think they desperately need a win. However, last time these two teams played, actually, I can't even say that because it was back in 1999. But I just think Nottingham Forest is just too tough, and Everton has struggled to get the job done. And listen, if they played like they did when they scored that goal right after Aston Villa scored their second one, I think they could have easily drew that game. But I've yet to see that fire from them right now. So I think Nottingham Forest plays good defensively. I think Everton plays good defensively. Both sides gets 1 goal apiece. I think it ends in a 1-1 draw.
Okay, like it.
Next one we got Fulham and Brentford.
I got Brentford winning this one 1-0. Brentford's off to a really good start. With the victory over Manchester United, they are just full of confidence, man. Fulham, on the other hand, still trying to figure out the Premier League. 2 ties, only 2 points. I think Brentford's got this one.
I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna continue my trend here. I'm gonna go with a draw. I'm gonna go with a 0-0 draw here. I think Fulham at home, they're very good. They're tough defensively. They're gritty. Brentford's also tough and gritty. I think the reason why Brentford scored 4 goals in that Manchester United game was because Manchester United created the opportunities for them. I think if United just played even just a tiny bit better, I think they don't lose by that margin again. And I don't think it'll happen again for them, especially against Brentford. I'm going to go, again, third consecutive 0-0 draw. Next one, we got Leicester City and Southampton.
I got Southampton winning this one 2-0. Leicester City hasn't given us much to discuss here. Southampton, however, has gotten off to a tough slate. I think they can win this one 2-0.
I actually have 2-0, but the other way.
Okay.
I have Leicester City solely based on the fact that they're playing at King Power. Listen, I don't like it. I don't like it like you, but last year they played Southampton at home. They blew the doors off them late in May, 4-1. And then they had a 2-2 draw in December. And they've just been drawing, or Leicester's been winning. I think with them being at home here, I like Leicester to win. Like we've always said, King Power is a tough place to play. I like Leicester City here, 2-0. All right, last one for the Saturday slate. We got Bournemouth hosting Arsenal.
I got Arsenal winning this one, man. Arsenal is playing phenomenal right now. I can't even discredit that team. Arteta has done a good job with this team. He's gotten them off to the right start. Gabriel Jesus off to a very confident start as well. So I got Arsenal win this one 3-0.
And it continues. Listen, Arsenal's just playing very, very well. I think Bournemouth is in a tough spot here because you play Manchester City last week, you get the doors blown off you, get the same thing again. With Arsenal, I think Bournemouth's good enough to make it a game, but I think Arsenal just gets away with it here. I like them to win 3-0 again as well.
All right.
All right, next one. Let's do West Ham hosting Brighton.
I got West Ham winning this one 2-1. Brighton might have been off to a good start. However, they haven't faced a team like West Ham that's got different versions of their format to play. And I think this is where the challenges begin for Brighton.
See, I was thinking the same thing. However, I'm looking at it now, and West Ham hasn't beat them in their last 10.
Doesn't mean that it's going to continue forever.
Yeah, but I also thought about this last week with Tottenham because they only won 1 out of their last 10 with Chelsea going into last week, and then they drew. So you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to change it because I originally had West Ham before I looked that up. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
All right.
All right, the next one we have Leeds hosting Chelsea.
This is a tough game for the two teams. They both play a different style of football. However, these two coaches are not any uneducated with one another's style of football. So I think Jesse Marsch can set up this Leeds United team to look correct and to face a Chelsea that will come out hungry. I think properly how they've been lining up lately, that 4-2-3-1 formation makes sense against a 3-5-2 formation that Tuchel will likely come out with. So I think Leeds versus Chelsea will end up in a 2-2 draw.
I think Chelsea pulls it out 2-1. Listen, I would love to see Leeds pull this off or get a draw against these guys. I just don't know if Jesse Marsch's team is ready for this yet. And Tuchel has his team roaring and ready to go. I think they're still fired up about what happened over this past weekend, and I think they carry it over here. I think they win 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea just stomps them.
I mean, they did play Wolves pretty tough, and they beat them in the last minute. They tied against the Southampton side that was very hungry and adjusted things correctly. Not to say that either of those teams are a fair comparison to Chelsea, but playing in St. Mary's Stadium is not easy nor for everybody. And this time is Ellen Road where Chelsea will be playing. Ellen Road is a different arena than the Bridge. That's where I'm going with my draw.
Right. No, listen, I agree with you 100%. The thing for me, and I'm looking at it, however, it's for me, it's the fact that Leeds was up 2-0 and they let Southampton come back and score two unanswered to get that draw. Leeds should have won that game. I think the tires need to be turned a little bit for them. However, I think that they can make it a game. I just think Chelsea comes out on top. Next one we have Newcastle hosting Manchester City.
I like Newcastle and what they're doing, man, but this is Manchester City. I can't discredit Manchester City here at all. I say a 3-1 victory for City.
Listen, say 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. This is what happened last year, and this is why I lost to you. I picked with my heart rather than with my brain. And if this was me last year, I'd be picking Newcastle to win because I would like them to see them win. However, I'm going to go with my brain here, and I'm going to take City to win 2-1 in a close game. I think Newcastle plays them tough. However, I think City will do just enough to get the job done in this one, especially on the road. Last game, the Northwest Derby at Old Trafford, Manchester United versus Liverpool. Diego, what do you got?
I got Liverpool winning this one 3-0.
So, fun stat for you. If you guys were to win this game, right? You know, you guys would be ahead of us in the standings.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen.
I also have Liverpool winning 3-0. I think for me, this is a statement game for Liverpool. They've come out sluggish in these first two games in the first half. Listen, they had a bunch of chances against Crystal Palace early and late. They need to start capitalizing on them. Luis Diaz had an absolute score. Sure. Obviously, we talked about Darwin Nunez will not be playing this one as he received the red card today for retaliation, which he probably shouldn't have done, but he's still a young kid. He'll figure it out in due time. However, I do like Liverpool in this matchup. Manchester United is just a shell of themselves right now, and I don't trust them. So I'll take Liverpool 3-0.
Yeah,
All
you guys can come up with your secondary formation and still kick our ass.
right.
So, I mean, just thinking about it, Harvey Elliott, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, Kelleher, and net. Let's see, Andrew Robertson, Oxley Chamberlain, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luis, Firmino, and Salah up front. You guys are all set. Like, what's even to bother with?
Right. All right. So why don't we go over our EPL best bets before we dive into everything else? So obviously last week, tough for both of us. However, let's start off with this. I'm going to go with my best bet. My best bet actually is going to be Leicester City at home, -125. King Power Stadium. They play very well at home. And taking on Southampton, I like them to get the job done here. I'm going to take Leicester City at -125.
Okay.
Who is your best bet this week, Diego?
I'm going with Tottenham over Wolves. At I think it's the same if I'm not mistaken.
So
No,
we
it
got
could be what it could be different.
So I got Tottenham for you -1.5 at +105. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
At plus money?
Yep.
Okay. So now let's go into the other games that we have that are the same side. We have Arsenal, we have City, and we have Liverpool.
I'm gonna go with the safe bet here and go for Arsenal.
Okay, so let's see. Arsenal, the number's too high for me. What's their spread? To Arsenal -1.5 +115. So Arsenal -1.5. And then we have City, Liverpool.
I think the safe bet there will be City.
City. So you want to do City. Okay.
United could come out and surprise us and give us a tie game, which would be best case scenario for that team. I'm not even calling it my team right now because this is. I'm not even sure that United's anymore the Manchester United people's team anymore. If they continue in the ownership of these people, we're screwed. There's nothing Ten Hag can do
So
anymore.
we're gonna go favorite heavy here. We're gonna go City -1.5 at +100.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so City -1.5. So that is plus 1486. This week we have a 4-leg Leicester, Tottenham -1.5, Arsenal -1.5, and Manchester City -1.5. One of these is gonna hit this year, and when we do, we got it. Trust me. All right, let's move in to La Liga. Diego, you have the 3 games for us, so why don't you give us the games and we'll go over them.
All right. So we'll start with Mallorca versus Real Betis. Betis right now off to a good start so far. They are sitting in they're sitting comfortably in third place. I'm going with Betis here, 2-1.
This is why we do a podcast together. Because I also have Real Betis winning 2-1. Literally the same exact reasons that you do.
All right, I like it. The next one over is Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal. Both teams off to a good start. Villarreal currently in first place. No real reason why Villarreal should be in first place according to the standings. It should actually be both Villarreal and Atletico in first place. However, it is what it is. I'm going with Atletico here. 2-0 victory over Villarreal. I think Atletico's off to a very good start. They played a very good game in their first outing. And I think they will continue to show that trend.
2-1.
2-0.
2-0. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wrote 2-1. I'm actually over to 1-1 draw here. I think both these teams are very good. I think Atletico Madrid played very, very well earlier today, as we're recording on Monday. I think that continues, but I think Villarreal's defense is going to be tough for them to get through. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this one.
All right. Last but not least, we got Girona taking on Getafe. Girona is a brand new team coming off of the secondary Liga. Getafe, on the other hand, off to a bad start, but they can turn it around. They're used to this anyways. I got Getafe winning that one 1-0.
Sorry, you cut out 1-0?
1-0. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you can do yourself a favor and write that same exact thing down under my name, because that's what I have.
All right. I like it.
All right. So those are our 3 games this week in La Liga. Excuse me. I'm doing something. Diego, do you want to... All right. It's Serie A. Excuse me. Give me a second. Going to Serie A. 3-0, both Diego and I here in that aspect. The 3 games in Serie A that we're going to discuss. The first game, if my phone will load, is Torino and Lazio.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So we got Atalanta versus AC Milan right off the bat.
You're not listening. I said Torino versus Lazio. Who do you got?
Oh, I definitely didn't listen to that part. I didn't hear the Torino versus Lazio. I got Lazio winning 2-1 here.
Jesus, sorry. I have Lazio winning 1-0. I think both teams played very well last week. I think Lazio will do enough to get the job done. Give me Lazio 1-0.
Right.
Next one is Atalanta and AC Milan.
I got a draw here, 1-1. Both teams starting off in a good note. Both played a very similar style of football. I didn't see much of a difference, and until something extraordinary happens in that game, I'm not changing my mind here.
You say a draw?
Yep, 1-1.
Dude, it's great minds think alike. Exactly the same reason you said. Both teams are playing very, very well. They play very, very similar. Last week, we both had them winning. This week, we both have them drawing. Give me a 1-1 draw.
All right, I like it.
All right, last one. Sampdoria hosting Juventus. Juventus, who, by the way, big shout out to them today. They looked very good against Sassuolo.
They did. I like what they had to show. It's clear that Allegri has his plans drawn out and figured out, with Leandro Paredes being the potential replacement immediately for Adrian Rabiot. Should Rabiot go over to Manchester United, that's a great replacement. Actually, that's an upgrade and a half. I got Juventus winning 2-1 over Sampdoria.
I have Juventus winning 2-0. Continue to play the way they play. I think Angel Di Maria is going to be a big factor again in this game.
Yes.
All right. Bundesliga best bet. You and I are 0-2. You and I have also picked the same game first 2 weeks. So, are we going to go 3 for 3 this week, or are you going to change it up on me? Who is your best bet for the Bundesliga match day number 3?
I got Wolfsburg versus Schalke 04. I got Wolfsburg winning that one.
Okay, so it's great because we're not on the same page this week. I actually have Mönchengladbach over Hertha. It's my best bet this week.
All right.
Ligue 1. I'm 1-1. You're 0-2. I'll give mine first. Listen, I like absolutely none of these games this week except for one. So I'm doing it. I'm throwing it out now. That way I don't have to worry about picking them for the next 3 weeks. I'm taking PSG over Lille.
Nice. I was very close in picking that one, actually.
All right, so what do you got for your Ligue 1 best bet?
My Ligue 1 best bet. I like this game a lot. I think it's gonna be high tension and good football to be displayed. Monaco versus Lens. They have a rivalry going on. I like Monaco in this one.
All right. That'll do it for picking up the games, everything like that. Do you have any final thoughts before we conclude episode 93? Or can I put a dab on it?
Jesus, this guy with the props. Oh, listen, I mean, on Manchester United, there's not much to say. There's a lot going on, and I more than ever do not blame Ralph Rangnick for running out of that team that at the time that he ran out. I think Ten Hag has come in here, shown what discipline, directive, and initiative look like. However, this is a locker room that's still invested in not paying attention to a coach that knows exactly what he's doing. And I think also it doesn't help that the more that Ten Hag tries to change his locker room, the less backing he gets from ownership to get these deals done, sealed, and completed. I just feel bad for Ten Hag. I think he's in a bad position here. It would suck if if the Glazers came out of nowhere and were like, yeah, we're not happy with what you're doing. We need you out of the club. I don't expect that to be the case, but we've seen the Glazers do stupid things at a stupid time, so it would not be a surprise to me whatsoever. Um, I think there's two big factors here. I think there's too much of a limelight on the whole Cristiano Ronaldo situation that needs to go. And I think there is too much of a limelight in bringing quality players into Manchester United because and struggling with that simply because they're not playing Champions League football. People need to be reminded of what Manchester United are, the type of club that they are, how big a club they are, how big their history is, how rich of a team it is, the fan base, all that stuff needs to be reminded. And right now, there's a lack of identity, a lack of responsibility, and a lack of trust altogether for Manchester United, and that's why the results are where they are, and they're dead last in the league because of that.
I think the big thing we have to take from United is this is their first big matchup. Listen, they played Brentford. Brentford's not a big matchup for them. They lost, and then they also lost to Brighton too. So I think this will show, like if they come out and they play hard against Liverpool, I think the tides are going to turn in the right direction. However, at the end of the day, for United, listen, it's not Eric Ten Hag's problem. They have played horrendous these first two games. A lot of mistakes led to those 4 goals against Brentford. It's hard to say, but I think after this Liverpool game, we'll get a better idea of what the identity of this Manchester United team is going to be moving forward for the 2022-2023 campaign.
Yeah, and by the way, to those of you accusing Ten Hag of screwing himself over by not starting McTominay and Fred together inside the defensive midfield, go back to watching real soccer, please. That's all I can say to you. Go back to watching real soccer because you are too glued to your little Xbox game, FIFA 2004, and still thinking that they are the greatest things in sliced bread in the shelf. Move on.
All right, before Diego goes into a rant, last thing that I'm going to say is that make sure you guys are following us on Twitter at the Yellow Card Podcast,
yes.
which our Twitter handle is at Podcast Card. Also, make sure you follow us on TikTok at Yellow Card Pod as well. Trust me, fire content coming out of there as well. You don't want to miss it. But with that being said, from Jones, Diego, we're signing off. Episode 93 officially in the books. Make sure you guys tune in because next week, match day number 4, got some interesting matchups in the Premier League and continuing our best bet streaks, hopefully, in La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and
end it before you go into a streak here.
But with that being said, sign off, and we will see you guys next week for episode 94, the big 9-4.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
See you.